Hello, good morning. My name is Ati. Today I will present about what are you expected to teach in ICT. Beginning teachers are generally taught to plan lessons and then to develop schemes of work. This order makes sense to start with, but once your planning skills start to develop, you create schemes of work first and use this to plan your lesson. We have made two decisions to present the chapter in sequential planning cycle order, which you will encounter in school and throughout your career as a teacher. In most schools, ICT is now taught as a discrete subject at Key Stage 3 through one lesson per week. The timetable structure within each school will dictate the lesson duration. For instance, some schools will have 50 or 55-minute lesson rather than 60 minutes. At Key Stage 3, you are also more likely to find that ICT is taught by teachers who are not ICT specialists. This will depend on the number of ICT specialists within each school. If there are insufficient ICT teachers to cover all years group and classes, then the ICT specialist will be priority to examination classes in Key Stage 4 and Post 16. Throughout the three iterations of the curriculum, the focus for learning has shifted toward developing ICT capability. And ICT capability comprises any three. First is skill. These are the techniques which we use when using hardware or software, but also include how we develop strategies or how we work well with others. Second is knowledge, comprehension of the underpinning concept for ICT and ability to make use of ICT specific terminology. And the last is understanding, the ability to apply our knowledge and skill to different situations and to be able to reflect on and evaluate our use of ICT. Planning a scheme of work is any three. First, long-term plan, which set out curriculum time and work project heading for a year's group or key stage. Second is medium-term plan, schemes of work which describe the content of a particular unit of work or topic over a number of weeks. 3. Short-term plan, lesson plan which provide the detail of what will happen with a particular class during one particular lesson. Once the different subsections of knowledge have been identified, it should be possible to start to put them into a hierarchy for teaching purpose. For instance, in our scenario, a pupil will need to know what the database is used for before they start to run queries and report. And the following is the start of a hierarchy for teaching database at year 7. First is what is database, what is used for, when do pupils use database, and 3. Searching effectively and using database. Encouraging innovation. Generally, trying new things can result in failure within the education system. Why would you risk innovating or attempting something new if it may mean high-stake failure? Within your classroom, you need to provide the opportunities for pupils to try out new things without risking failure in a high-stake assessment. You will need to examine your long-term plan and scheme of work to identify potential time and unit where this would be possible. Cross-curricular times. Cross-curricular projects are an excellent way of breaking down the barriers pupils perceive between subject areas. For instance, planning for a newspaper day, where pupils produce a newspaper from scratch in one day. In ICT, it is often productive for pupil to prepare the contents of a piece of work in another subject and then to use ICT as a way of integrating the work. For instance, pupil complete a piece of persuasive writing in English, perhaps about a topic they are covering in science, such as genetic engineering, and then use ICT to produce an informative web page or podcast. Devising the scheme of work. Many schools will devise their own scheme of work template which meet their own requirements. The KCA scheme of work template provides a suitable structure containing prompts for most of the aspects of planning we require at this stage. Typically, schemes will concentrate on skill building in the first few seasons and then move pupil into a consolidation and development phase where they work more independently to achieve a set of objectives. It is important to build opportunities for pupils to evaluate and refine their work during the unit. And progression. A spiral curriculum enables pupils to progress years on years as this knowledge of ICT develops, building on their previous understanding. Scaffolding helps pupils to attain a higher level of understanding than they would have been able to achieve on their own. Essentially, a pupil not understanding relational database if they do not understand basic terminology, the purpose of a database, or a flat file structure. And teaching at key stage 4. First is curricular delivery of ICT. 2. Level 1 or 2, award made by award boards such as General Certificate of Secondary Education, Diploma in Digital Application. And 3. Building a curriculum based on their other qualification which may not meet all of the requirements of the national curriculum. For example, vendor accredited qualification or the European computer driving license. And the last conclusion, you should now be aware that there are a host of factors, or many of which are explored further in the following chapter to consider when planning in ICT. This chapter has given you some practical strategies to help you to start developing your own schemes of work. While this will at first be difficult and time-consuming, it will become easier with practice. Always try to ensure that your plan includes sufficient opportunities for pupils to progress and to learn in different ways. This will help to keep pupils engaged in your lesson. It's clear that ICT is very necessary during a pandemic like today because, like it or not, we are required to carry out activities from home such as work and school online, where it requires us as a teacher and student to learn about computer technology to follow the lesson. So thanks for your attention. Don't forget, always use your mask, wash your hand, and keep social distancing. Bye.